In this lesson, we're going to substitute and solve. And in each problem, there's always going to be an equation that we need to work with in order to solve that problem. So let's work on our first example. Always make sure you read the question very carefully. You just got a job at your favorite store. You will be paid $11.25 per hour plus a $50 a week bonus. You can model the amount you earn in a week, E, in terms of the number of hours worked, N, with the equation E equals $50 plus 11.25 N. So let's break this question down. We're given this equation that represents the amount earned in a week. And the amount earned in a week is represented by E. You are paid $11.25 per hour plus a $50 bonus. So this 50 is your $50 a week bonus. And this 11.25 per hour is this. So N represents the number of hours that you work. So this equation just says that your total earnings is your $50 a week bonus plus $11.25 multiplied by the number of hours that you worked. When you have a number right in front of your variable, it just means multiplication. So this means 11.25 times N. In part A, it asks, how much do you make in a week if you work 5 hours? So we're going to use this equation to help us find our answer. I always like to start off with our unknown variables in the equation. So in our equation, we have an E, which represents the amount you earn in a week, and we have N, which represents the number of hours you work in a week. So E and N are two unknown variables. But some information will be given in the question. So it says, how much do you make in a week? So we're finding how much you earn in 1 week. And it says if you work 5 hours. So N is just equal to 5. And that's the information that you're going to need in order to solve this problem. So start writing out your original equation. Our equation was given to us. It's just E equals 50 plus 11.25 N. And if you list out all the information that you're given in the question that you're trying to find, this will be very helpful so you can start substituting it into the question. Since I know that N is equal to 5, I'm going to take this N and replace it with 5. So our equation is just E equals 50 plus 11.25, and instead of N, I'm going to put 5 in brackets, because this really means 11.25 multiplied by 5. So again, what we've just done is that since N is equal to 5, I've taken N in our original equation and just substituted 5 in for N. So now we can just start solving the equation. And we're solving for E. So make sure you follow BEDMAS. We cannot do 50 plus 11.25. We need to do our multiplication first. So we need to do 11.25 times 5. So all of this stuff stays the same. So we're just going to copy and write it below. And 11.25 multiplied by 5 is just 56.25. Now we can add these. So 50 plus 56.25 is just 106.25. So E is equal to $106.25, which means after working 5 hours, you have earned $106.25 in a week. Here's part B of this question, and we're still using this exact same equation. I haven't changed anything, but the only difference here is that this time N is not equal to 5 anymore. It's a totally different scenario. So this question says, how many hours do you have to work in 1 week to earn $495? So we're still using our equation to solve this question, and we still have our two unknown variables. This time we're given the amount of dollars that you earn in a week. So we're given E. E is equal to $495. And this time we're trying to find out how many hours you work this week. So in order to solve this question, we're going to take this E in our equation and replace it with $495. So instead of writing E, we're going to write 495. And we're going to copy the rest of the equation, 50 plus 11.25n. So our unknown variable this time is n, because that's what we're trying to find. We're trying to find the number of hours you work this week. So now we're just solving for n. And when we're solving this equation, we need to isolate n. So n is right beside this 11.25 because these are being multiplied by each other. So we can't get rid of this yet. We need to get rid of this 50. 50 is a positive number and it's being added in this equation, so we need to do the opposite. We need to subtract it. So we're going to subtract 50 from both sides of the equation. So on the left side of the equation, 495 minus 50 is just 445, and we bring down that equal sign. 50 minus 50, we can cross those out because 50 minus 50 is just 0. So on the right side of the equation, we're just left with 11.25n. And 11.25n just means 11.25 multiplied by n. So to get n on its own, to solve for n, we need to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we need to divide both sides of the equation by 11.25. So 445 divided by 11.25 is approximately 39.56. And these just cancel each other out. So on the right side, we're just left with n. So this just means that if you earn $495 in a week, you worked approximately 39.56 hours. And now it's your turn, but I'll just read the problem with you. You just got a job at another store. You will be paid $5.50 per hour plus a $100 a week bonus. You can model the amount you earn in a week A in terms of the number of hours you worked n with the equation A equals 5.5n plus 100. So I want you to pause the video and try to answer part A and answer part B on your own. Come back to the video when you're ready to check your answer. So here's my answer. Part A asks, how much do you make in a week if you work 10 hours? So since you work 10 hours, that means that n is equal to 10. So I replaced n with 10 in my equation. The most common mistake I find is that students will write 10 just beside the variable n. But n is equal to 10. You worked 10 hours. So instead of writing n in the equation, you need to substitute in 10. You need to replace n with 10. And then you need to solve the equation. So once you solve the equation, you should have gotten that A is equal to 155, which means that in 1 week after working 10 hours, you earned $155. And here's my answer for part B. So in part B, it asks, how many hours do you have to work in a week to earn $535? So this time we're given the amount you earned in a week, which is $535, and you're finding the number of hours you worked. So you should have substituted A with $535, and when you solved for n, you should have gotten that n is equal to approximately 79.09 hours. So this means in a week after you earned $535, you worked 79.09 hours, which is a crazy amount. But if you didn't get that, and you find that your problem is actually solving the equations, then you may need to take some time and practice the actual process of solving equations just to refresh your memory. So let's just do one more question. So here's our next problem, and all the problems won't be about how much you earned in a week. This problem is about the number of stars in a pattern. So the number of stars in a pattern can be represented by the equation S equals 3 plus 5n, where S is the number of stars and n is the term number. In part A, we're asked how many stars will there be in term 25. So let's start off with the equation that we're given in the question. S equals 3 plus 5n. And we have two unknown variables here, s and n. So the question's asking how many stars, so we're finding s, and we know that this is term 25, so n is equal to 25. So in our equation, we're going to substitute n with 25. And I'm putting that in brackets because this is just 5 multiplied by n. So when we start solving this, we can do 5 times 25, which is just 125. So s is equal to 3 plus 125, which is just 128. So this just means in the 25th term of this pattern, there are 128 stars. So in part B of this question, it asks, which term number has 203 stars? So let's start off by writing our original equation, s equals 3 plus 5n, and our two unknown variables, s and n. So this time it's asking for which term number, so we're finding n, and we're given that we have 203 stars. So we can substitute s with 203 and keep the rest of the equation the exact same. So we have 203 equals to 3 plus 5n. We cannot touch this 5n yet. Since 3 is being added, we got to subtract it. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides of our equation, which means we're going to be left with 200 equals 5n. And since we're solving for n, we need to get n on its own. N is being multiplied by 5, so we need to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we're dividing both sides of our equation by 5. And that's going to leave us with n is equal to 40. So this just means in the 40th term, we have 203 stars. So try the other questions. There are a bunch more questions that you can keep practicing. And at the end, there are answers. So make sure you check your answer and try those challenge questions as well.